Just jumping in there, heading over to the White House, where Donald Trump is taking questions from the assembled press. You can see right there.
Many others, and we were restricted from restricted from selling cars into the European Union, which is not nice. And I just said it's time that we play the game the way I know how to play the game. You know, they've taken advantage of other people representing this country, and they're not going to do that any longer. Yeah.
Mr. President, you are a deal maker, deal breaker. What are you hoping to achieve with a 50% tariffs on the EU?
Well, I think this is there is no tariff, because what they'll do is they'll send their companies into the U.S. and build their plant. You know, we have, I guess, over $12 trillion practically committed. You look at other presidents; they haven't had $1 trillion for a year, for 2 years, for 3 years.
Days. Will you be able to do that, sir?
I'm not looking for a deal. I mean, we've set the deal. It's at 50%. But again, there is no tariff if they build their plant here. Now, if somebody comes in and wants to build a plant here, I can talk to them about a little bit of a delay. But, you know, while they're building their plant, which is something I think that would be appropriate, maybe we'll determine that.
Is there anything they can do, sir? Is there anything the EU can do?
I don't know. We're going to see what happens. But right now it's going on June 1st. And that's the way it is. No, they haven't treated us properly. They haven't treated our country properly. They banded together to take advantage of us. And the people behind me know, because they had some of that with their industry. But generally, you know, we signed a great deal with United Kingdom. We have numerous other deals that are ready to be signed. We've signed a deal with China. We have some really amazing deals, but the European Union, I mean, the sole purpose was really not to hurt us, but to take advantage of us. And we're not going to be taking advantage.
Mr. President, on Apple, you said this morning that if they don't make their iPhones in the U.S., you're going to hit them with a 25% tariff.
Right.
Do you have the power to tariff one single company? And why would you want to hurt an American company in that way?
It would be more. It would be also Samsung and anybody that makes that product. Otherwise, it wouldn't be fair. So anybody that makes that product, and that'll start on, I guess, the end of June. It'll come out. I think we have that appropriately done by the end of June. So if they make that product. Now, again, when they build their plant here, there's no tariff. So they're going to be building plants here. But I had an understanding with him that he wouldn't be doing this. He said he's going to India to build plants. I said, that's okay to go to India, but you're not going to sell into here without tariffs. And that's the way it is. Yeah.
Well, why would you hurt an American company?
What makes you confident, sir, that Apple can build in the United States at a price that American consumers?
Oh, they can. No, they can. And a lot of it's so computerized now. These plants are amazing if you look at them, but they can do that. And you know, actually, as you know, Apple's coming in with $500 billion. So are the chip companies. We have all of the chip companies coming in. The biggest, $500 billion, $200 billion, $250 billion they're spending. But we're talking about the iPhone now. And, you know, the iPhone, if they're going to sell it in America, I want it to be built in the United States. They're able to do that.
When you say that Walmart should eat the cost of the tariffs, is that an acknowledgement that it is U.S. companies that bear the brunt of tariffs, not foreign companies?
Sometimes the country will eat it. Sometimes Walmart will eat it. And sometimes there'll be something to pay, something extra. I've always been a fan, and I've always believed. And if you look, take a look at what I did 4 years ago. We had the greatest economy, and we had no inflation. Remember that. We had no inflation, and yet we had hundreds of billions of dollars of tariffs that I put on China. Yet we had no inflation. We had no big cost differential. Oftentimes, and I don't like it when a department store, because they'll do a lot of business, but you know they announce record profits and everything else. They have to take out some of their profits. They'll make a little bit less money. But I don't want the consumer. I don't want the consumer to pay.
But why impose tariffs that you know are hurting American businesses?
They're not hurting. They're helping, because they're creating jobs in America. We're creating tremendous amounts of jobs in America like you've never seen. We're having investment in America. We're not getting ripped off by every country in the world. We've been ripped off by every country in the world. They're making their product. They sell it. They don't give our people the jobs. They make them with other countries' jobs. And we will have something that nobody will ever see again, I think. I think we have a potential to do numbers that we never envisioned in the wildest year. Look at what's happening. 10 to 12 trillion dollars in literally a couple of months. It's nothing like that's ever happened. It's we're doing a very special thing. We want, if they're going to sell it here, generally speaking, not for all products. There's some products we don't want to make. And frankly, we're much better off getting them elsewhere. But for certain products, we want cars. We want to make cars. We don't want to have, and I like Canada very much, but we don't want to have Canada making our cars. We want to make our cars. Oh, it's a phone call. Do you mind? Hello? Okay, it's only a congressman. I'd let you know, actually.
Mr. President, are you
Yeah.
considering stopping other universities from taking foreign students?
It's a different congressman. They're all congratulating
Is that an
us.
iPhone, sir?
Yeah, it's lucky it is. Right? Okay, let's go.
Are you considering stopping other universities besides Harvard from accepting foreign
Well, we're
students?
taking a look at a lot of things. And as you know, billions of dollars has been paid to Harvard. How ridiculous is that? Billions. And they have $52 billion as an endowment. They have $52 billion. And this country is paying billions and billions of dollars and then gives student loans and they have to pay back the loans. So Harvard's going to have to change its ways. So are some others.
Mr. President, on that note, a lot of CEOs in the United States, big companies, are for it. What is that going to do?
I'm fine with that. No, I'm fine with that. No, we want to do that. We're actually going to be doing something in the near future that's going to make it possible for people to come into this country and come in and, have a road toward citizenship. And I think it'll be very exciting, but it's too soon to speak.
Why would you
not want the best and brightest from around the world to
I do.
come to Harvard?
I do, but a lot of the people need remedial math. Did you see that? Where the students can't add 2 and 2, and they go to Harvard. They want remedial math, and they're going to teach remedial math at Harvard. No, wait a minute. So why would they get in? How can somebody that can't add or has very basic skills, how do they get into Harvard? Why are they there? And then you see those same people picketing and screaming at the United States and screaming at, they're anti-Semitic or they're something. We don't want troublemakers here. But how do people that can't, when Harvard comes out with a statement that they're going to teach some of their students remedial math, that's basic math, that's not the deal. Okay, and any more? In the back?
Are there other countries you're considering shortening the 90-day pause on tariffs for? And then are there specific steps you're looking for the EU to take?
We do. Well, we have a lot of requests, and you don't have the people to handle it. Frankly, everybody wants to make a deal. I'm sure now the European Union wants to make a deal very badly, but they don't do it right. They don't go about it right. The other thing they do is they sue our companies all the time. They have suits where their judges, I don't know if they're appointed by them, but they're definitely Europe-centric, and we're not going to stand for it. They won a $17 billion lawsuit for Apple, and I read that case, and that's not a case that should have been won. They're suing other of our companies. They use this as a weapon, but they use it really to raise funds for what they do. It's almost like a fundraising mechanism. So we add that to the fact that they do the non-monetary tariffs and lots of other trading, you would call them trading barriers. They don't take our cars. They don't take our agriculture. They don't take anything, but we take their cars by the millions. And therefore, they have the jobs. They get the money, and we get closed plants. It's not going to happen that way anymore. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you. Please don't. Please don't talk. Thank you, guys. Please keep moving. Please keep moving.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
That is the scene in the White House in the Oval Office, and Donald Trump hosting a posse of press talking about 50% tariffs he may impose on the EU as talks are going nowhere. He said he also spoke of the 25% tariffs on Apple, saying it would also apply to others who make phones like the iPhone, like Samsung and so forth. Spoke also on Harvard on stopping international enrollment. So let's take it out with our White House correspondent, Kimberly Halkett, who was listening to the ongoing press gaggle there. So, Kimberly, what did you make of it all?
Yeah, that posse is the White House pool of reporters that rotates and signing opportunities where the U.S. president was signing some executive orders on nuclear energy. It was at the tail end of that. They were able to ask some questions. And so we were hoping we would get some answers on how that conversation between the EU Trade Commissioner and the U.S. Trade Representative went. It doesn't appear that we got any answer in terms of the outcome of that meeting, but it's very clear where the U.S. president stands, and that is that he believes that the European Union has not treated the United States properly. And even as he signed other deals with other countries that have allowed for a reduction in tariffs and this pause since he announced them in April, when it comes to the EU, it looks like those 50% tariffs that he's been warning about are going to kick into effect on June 1st. Now, he said there just a few moments ago that he said now he's not even looking for a deal with the European Union. If they want these tariffs to not happen, they need to build and make their products that they're currently sending to the U.S. in the U.S. So it seems that, again, we're not clear what's happened with this telephone call. We presume it's over, but it appears that the differences to try and avert some sort of transatlantic trade war didn't seem to work.
All right, Kimberly, thanks for that. Kimberly Halkett there at the White House.